Okay, it says I'm live. Decided to go ahead a minute or two early. We're going to give everything a moment to catch up here. You guys will have to confirm if it is on and live, if you don't mind. By the way, I appreciate the early risers. Thank you, guys. Anthony, good to see you. We are live. Thanks, Buffer. Appreciate it, man. Alan, good to see you. Hey, guys, and to all of you guys, hello and welcome. Happy Tuesday night. Really appreciate you guys stopping by and saying hello. Turbo, Wichita, Kansas is warm enough. I'll tell you what, man, it has been beautiful. Even Sunday, too, was outside as much as I could. Today, of course, had to work, but was able to get out and do a nice long walk. I'm a big walker. That's really a nice, good lifetime exercise. So I've been a big walker for a really long time. I like to plug in and just go for long walks. So I enjoy that sort of thing. Not that this is a walking chat. This is a gun chat. And so a couple of things going on, a couple of things real quick. I do want to get back to Dennis, your comment here in just a moment. But before we do, Target 725 was talking about Beretta and a new video on Instagram and on Facebook about something coming. And there was indeed an ad on there, and it was suggesting home defense. 1776 or bust, and a couple of other people, Poe Performance, also talking about a new APX single stack, perhaps, that might be coming to the market. This advertisement did not allude to that. And I saw another advertisement on Beretta's page, and it was talking about 92, a really good looking one. It didn't look like the M9A3, but a variant of that perhaps, or maybe it was the M9A3 and just kind of a souped up one that had some different tweaks to it. I have not tested the M9A3, but it's going to happen, and I hope this year. I've got a buddy that has one that has never fired it before. He's just a big gun guy and just loves to collect guns, and sometimes they're unfired for a period of time. So I might steal that and put the first rounds through it. So we'll see. But I'm curious about that. I still like the 92 format, if you will. So that ought to be interesting. But Dennis posted a question here, a comment and question, talking about, so he's at a total loss on what gun to get next. He has a 365 for his everyday carry and a 320C for carry and range. That's great. Thinking about a subcompact double stack or something like that. And he's limited to 10 rounds, probably because of where he lives, I would imagine. And Dennis, there are some great options out there. I've really fallen back into favor with the Glock 26, not trying to push you on that because there are others as well. But I've become a big fan. I think it's small enough for very comfortable carry, and it can still serve a great deal of purposes. It is absent of any sort of a rail, of course, for any accessories. So for home defense, might be a little bit more challenging, but there are certainly solutions out there for it. But that's a good one. But there are some other really good ones as well. I mean, as long as they are compatible with your 10-round restriction. So the HK VP9 SK, another one of my favorites. Absolutely love it. The P10S is a great gun as well. I know I wasn't quite as favorable of that against the Glock 26, but you guys know that those types of things change over time. And the P10S is certainly a fantastic firearm. I would be curious to know what others of you guys would recommend for something like that. Fit and Fire is talking about the G2C. That is another great gun. And if you're budget conscious or you just want something that fits that role to one degree or another, the G2C is a great gun. I've had very good luck with it without question. Kyle is saying the Glock 26, of course. Texas teacher saying waiting for the 320 compact video. Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. You can tell I actually have not done anything with this since I filmed that video over the weekend. And actually completed everything. So the video on this is coming out this weekend for sure. It's all done. In fact, it's not loaded into YouTube yet, but it's ready to go. So I'm excited for you guys to see it. I mean, I think it's a really cool gun. The challenge with doing that video, and I actually compare it to an X-Carry, you can't quantify the differences between the two on video very well. I can sit here and tell you that the compact really truly is smaller and the grip is surprisingly small, but I can't show it on video very well. It doesn't give you the right sense of the differences between the two. So I'm hoping that video does at least some justice to it, or gives you kind of an idea. but it's incredible putting these two guys together. I just kind of do that so you can see. I mean, there is absolutely a difference between these two without any question at all. However, both very capable guns, and I really enjoyed getting back into this. I've been pretty excited because I think this compact, if not the carry as well, I think will be permanent residents on the channel. I've been very impressed. Not a spoiler alert. It's not all rainbows and everything else, but there's a lot to like about it for sure. But Dennis, hopefully that gave you some suggestions as far as a double stack with 10 rounds. I mean, again, a lot of really good options out there. But of course, they're going to be bigger than the 365. I mean, that's just inevitable. That 365 is so tiny and fits a great role as well. But you're going to get something probably that's going to be perhaps more enjoyable to shoot, depending on who you are. Maybe, maybe not. But something that might be a little bit more fun to put more rounds down range, and you might even gravitate towards that to carry. You might not. I don't know. But again, hopefully that helps just a little bit. So I'm going to try and catch up here. Casino Boss is saying you'll enjoy the M9A3. I think so too. They feel really good in the hand. And so I'm very excited. This is the traditional, the first release of it. So it's the mix of FDE type colors, whatever. But I think they're good looking guns. So it'll be fun. Buffer Zone is saying SR9C for 10 rounds. That's a great suggestion as well. Although admittedly, I've never shot one. I hear very good things about them. Dan O'Neill, good to see you, my friend. Thanks for the thumbs up. Appreciate it. Kevin Roberts saying VP9 SK again. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. Knuckles is saying the Wilson Combat EDC9. That's a beautiful gun. That would certainly be a different category in terms of price and function, being a 1911 style firearm, but excellent firearms, no doubt about it. I really want to get a hold of one at some point in time. I can't bring it onto the channel in terms of buying or anything. I mean, that's too expensive, but I'd like to try one. I might see if I can find somebody who might be nice enough to loan me one at some point in time. So we'll see. Excuse me. Target 725 actually is also bringing up the Ruger Security 9 Compact. I don't know if you guys have seen that. You know, the Security 9 came out, what was it, 2 years ago, I guess, or a year and a half ago, something like that, beginning of 2018, I suppose. And it's a good gun. It's a good cost-effective gun in a kind of Glock 19 size platform. That compact looks tiny, and they are equating it to a Glock 26. That grip does look pretty darn small. So I'll be curious to know what that's like. It's not on the radar to test or anything at this point in time, but I would be curious to see one, if nothing else. So continue to catch up here for a moment or two. Kyle G saying the 92G Elite LTT is the best 92 M9 variant. The LTT looks awesome. The M9A3 I want to try, and I actually would like to try the Langdon Tactical as well. It'd be fun to perhaps bring one on at some point in time. I think a 92 would be a good addition to the collection. Again, not on the radar right now, but maybe at some point, depending on how I shoot it, I suppose. We shall see. Jim Rose saying Walther PPS is a great carry option. It absolutely is. No doubt about it. Insight, Scott, good to see you. Good to see every single one of you. I'll try and get to all of you at some point. Big Daddy, good to see you. Let's see here. Let's see. Farm Freak, has the CZ P10S hit the shelves yet? No, it has not hit the shelves just yet. It has not. Or you're talking in terms of sales. Yeah, I really haven't seen them out very much. They're out there, but they're hard to find. And I think a lot of that, again, has to do with some of the parts availability with CZ. I think that's been a little bit of a challenge. And they've run into that before. So it's not necessarily a surprise, but I'm hoping they're going to be able to catch up here pretty soon. Dave Gass, good to see you. Listening while working, appreciate it. Sheck, very good to see you, my friend. Tony, my 365 has been awesome. Carried it for the first time today. Congratulations. Very cool. Very cool. Let's see. Florida Mike 75 is saying, shout out to JetBlue, please. All right. Shout out to JetBlue. There you go, man. Kathleen is saying high point 9mm. Definitely. Martin Segal is saying Glock 43X is 10 rounds as well. That is getting into the subcompact. I think Dennis originally was, I think it sounded like he was trying to go for more a double stack, so a little bit wider gun, if nothing else. But the Glock 43X is a great gun, no doubt about it. In fact, I was looking at True Precision. I don't know if you guys are familiar. I've shown some barrels in a couple of different videos. They make some aftermarket products, that sort of thing. Really good company. They actually have slides now for the 43 and the 43X, some different custom slides that are ready to go. You just buy it, they ship it to you, you're done. Nothing else you have to do with it. And there's some pretty cool ones. In fact, I'll admit the bronze one actually looks really cool with a black grip and the black barrel and everything. I think that'd be a really cool look. But you know, if you want to bling up your 43. Kyle G is saying, don't really understand the 9mm single stacks. Glock 48 is a joke to me. Well, you know, different strokes for different folks. It's one of the great things being able to have the different options out there. I totally understand where you're coming from, and you are not alone. A lot of people have made very similar sentiments in comments and videos and that sort of thing. I'm a big fan of single stacks. I'm a firm believer in carry what you're going to carry all day. That's comfortable for you. Single stacks are just a little bit more comfortable, especially in the summertime, because I wear shorts and a t-shirt. I go minimalist as much as I can. I've made that type of video before. That's kind of a thing for me. So I do prefer single stacks. I'll go double stack more during the winter. I might carry the 26 over the summer perhaps, but generally single stacks. But as far as the 48 goes, I think one of its principal drives is giving people, especially in magazine restricted states, the opportunity to have a Glock 19 size firearm in terms of length, in terms of slide length and sight radius, but still being able to have a smaller form factor since you can't have the extra rounds anyway. I don't know. I think it's actually a pretty brilliant gun for Glock to do, because it strikes a bit of a balance there. For me, I'm sort of falling out of favor with it. It doesn't necessarily make sense for me. I'm not in a restricted state. And I have the 43X, which I've actually started to really like quite a bit. So the 48 may not be a permanent resident here. It may eventually go, although I'd like to do another video with it at some point in time. But I think to some people, they've really praised it. So again, you know, different strokes, man, different strokes for different folks without question. I got caught up here a minute, if you guys don't mind. Yeah, Kyle's saying same thing about the LTT, a little cheaper than the Wilson as well. Yeah, it's a very good point. Even though that Wilson looks pretty cool, and I hear it is a sweet, sweet gun. Jim Rose saying the LC9S is my bathroom gun. I mean, what kind of bathroom neighborhood are you in, man? Peter K saying, hi KC or KS, either way, it's all good. KC is appropriate as well. For Samers and 365 fit in my monkey hand wrong way weird. Yeah, I liked the 365 okay, but long term, again, it was too small for me. It was not so small that it was really uncomfortable. You guys know, a lot of you know, I've been testing a couple of Diamondbacks. One of them is the DB9. That's too small. It is not a fun gun to shoot. Spoiler alert. I don't enjoy it at all. And that's just simply because my hands are too big. I cannot find any comfortable grip on that gun to save my life. I really can't. So, you know, different strokes for different folks, without question. Warsaw Patriot shot a Taurus PT92 AFS, and I love how the trigger feels very similar to the Beretta, yet people still hate the name Taurus. Taurus has improved a lot, and you know, we've talked about that a lot on here as well. I totally agree. Taurus, up until the last year and a half, the reputation was not favorable. It really wasn't. In fact, I've learned the Taurus name by way of a couple of local gun stores, not Centerfire. Centerfire wasn't around at the time, but some that I used to go to years ago that flat out refused to carry them, just based upon reputation. Not only reputation of guns coming out of the warehouse, so to speak, but also in terms of sending one back for repair. That was quite challenging. But I do think they've made some inroads and they've made some improvements. The G2C has really lit up the community. They changed their warranty program, I think. I think their warranty program is a little bit better than it was originally when the G2C came out. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I thought I read that somewhere. So I think they're trying to make some serious improvements. So it's good to see, because it's more options for people, so long as it's a reliable gun that you enjoy, that you shoot well, and it's going to work when you need it to work. I mean, I think that's huge, man. I truly think that's big. Sheck is saying you daily carrying the Glock 43X. I'm not. I have carried it. I've carried it inside and outside the waistband. You know, I did a video with those Harry's holsters, and I've taken advantage of both of those. but not consistently. I just, it's funny. I tend to gravitate back towards the shield, and I'm really stoked to try that shield 4-inch to see if I like it as much as I like the shield. I like to think that I'm not biased towards the shield because there are other guns that are very good as well. But for whatever reason, man, I connect with it. It feels really good in the hand. I shoot it reasonably well. And it just, I enjoy the shield. I really do. Kathleen is saying, do you still own an SP01? I absolutely do. The Shadow Orange. That's a forever gun. That's not ever going anywhere. You guys have not seen a video on that. I will at some point, since it's not going anywhere and it's not a new gun. I don't feel pressed to do it. I should at some point, but I did an SP01 2 years ago, year and a half ago, the tactical, and enjoyed that one as well. And of course, the SP01 Phantom, I very much like. So yeah, I'm a big fan, and I do have the Shadow Orange still. Farm Freak saying, do you think I should appendix carry the 50 cal Desert Eagle? Brother, I mean, I'd fall over. There's just no way. David Giles jumping in mid-stride here. I was wondering if anyone has experience with the new US-made P10C or F or S. Does the longer trigger shoe cause the trigger bite? So, I've done the release on the S, and I've tested the C optics. A buddy of mine, a close friend of mine, has one, and he has the optics ready USA F version as well. And I did not find that to be an issue at all. And I did find that to be an issue on the first P10. I don't know if that helps, but I have not found that to be the case on the newer ones. So I think they did make some noticeable changes there. Jim Gregory talking about the P320 X Compact. Anything you can share? It's right here, man. I will tell you, I'm really falling in favor of this gun, and ironically, I'm falling back in favor with the X Carry a lot as well. I've spent a lot of time, certainly doing a lot of dry fire. I've been to the range with both of them. Obviously, I had to record the video and all that sort of thing. I really enjoyed it. It's funny. I think I'm cursed a little bit with 320s because I've liked all of the ones I've had. I've liked them all. I've enjoyed them. But for some reason, something always happens while I'm recording a video or doing the shooting or something. There's always some little gremlin, so to speak, that happens. And this time, because I've been working with like the Staccato C and some of that, I was sort of out of touch a little bit with polymer guns for, I don't know, 3 weeks or so. So getting back into that, it was a bit of a challenge at the range. And although there were moments of what I consider for my shooting greatness, I was very pleasantly surprised, even at 7 or 8 yards, getting some really good groups. Again, for me, not for everybody. But then every once in a while, there would just be a radical flyer. And it was me, not the gun. I can only blame myself. And it was just, obviously, it's technique, and I need to spend some more time with it. But it was enough for me to say, man, I enjoy the way it feels, enjoy the way it shoots, all that sort of thing. It's not trying to spoil the video or anything, but I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I really have. Both of them. I've enjoyed both of them quite a bit. Let's see, and I know I'm woefully behind. I'm gonna jump ahead here a little bit. So if I miss a question or something, please ask it again. Do the little call out if you can, the @KS Gun Guy, if you don't mind, so I don't miss it. Sheck is saying, I bet his girlfriend is anxious to try out the 4-inch. This conversation could go a different direction very quickly, my friend. Richard Oliver, the Cynic TP9 SF Elite S is a dang good weapon. Yeah, the TP9 series, I've thoroughly enjoyed. I think they're a lot of fun. I still have that Elite Combat, and that's a phenomenal gun. I've enjoyed it. People don't dig the videos as much. Doesn't get quite as much coverage. And the If I Could Only Have One, I did with that. And I think it was the FN 509 Tactical. Did not get quite as much play as some of the other ones do. But I like that Canik. I think they do a good job, regardless of where they're made. Or I know some people get a little bent about that sort of thing. But, not so much for me. Carl Thornton, good to see you. Shield has a great feel. I totally agree, man. Totally agree. Kevin Roberts saying, I have an AR-15 pistol that is my refrigerator gun in case somebody gets in my dessert. Wow, that's hardcore, my friend. That is hardcore. Let's see, Jim Gregory, the P320 X Series rocks. I agree. They do a good job. I like that X5 too. It's a big gun, but I do enjoy that as well. It's funny. I like the VTAC as well, but I could never really find a place for it. It's kind of an odd thing to say, I know, but if you've experienced it, you probably know what I'm talking about. It's just, it sits kind of on the fringe in amongst the other P320s. Still a great gun. It's a good looking gun. But it's just kind of a little bit different, you know. Insight Freedom saying, didn't Taurus hire one of the Freedom Group bigwigs? I don't know. I know I don't. They did bring on a new person. I'm not sure if they were from the Freedom Group or not. Tattoo Dragon, good to see you. Yeah, man, the SIGs are running really well. They absolutely are. I've thoroughly enjoyed them. TOB or TOB. I'm not sure how to pronounce that or how to say that, but hello from Leewood. Hello back. Hello back. You're just a rock's throw away, man. Abram Venable is saying, what would be your number one CC pistol? It'd be the Shield. That's kind of my go-to. Some other ones, I've carried the Glock 19 with occasionally, not very often, to be honest with you. But then the M&P 2.0C, I've carried that one a fair amount over the winter, and it's both are great guns. All of those, I like those sizes, that style of firearm. Now during the summer, I generally don't carry something quite that big. Again, shorts and a t-shirt, minimalist approach. So I try and keep it as simple as possible and printing, make sure not to print and all that kind of stuff. So generally speaking, the Shield. Shaq, thanks for the thumbs up. Appreciate it, man. Alan, try to keep up. I know you guys, your conversations are incredible. And it is hard to keep up, but I don't want to miss anything, of course, as best I can. Knuckles is saying I prefer hammer-fired alloy frame SIGs. Yeah, you know, I did that blue titanium P229 last year. I want to say it was last year or the end of the year before, or whatever. And that was a great firearm. It was part of their, I think it was the Elite. I want to say it was the Elite series. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. And it had the short reset trigger and all that kind of stuff. Not quite as good of a trigger, I thought, as the Legion, but still a very good gun. And they, when they first released that blue titanium one, it was crazy cheap. I mean, it was like $650 or something like that. They didn't do that for very long, but it was a good deal at the time. There were a couple of free magazines with it, so it was like 4 magazines. And again, SIG is not known for doing that, but that was a fun gun to test and to shoot. Alan is saying, I now own 0 SIGs. I just got a SIG rehab center. You know, for a while, I didn't have any either. At the beginning of last year, I kind of had a SIG explosion. I did the whole X series and the P365 and that sort of thing. And I did get a little burnt out, I will admit. And I kind of took a vacation, so to speak, from Sig Sauer. Not to say that it's a bad brand or anything. Just want to explore some other things. So I totally get it, man. Totally do. Tattoo Dragon, have any SIG 1911s? Thoughts on them? I did test a tactical. I think it was just a TAC Ops. I guess it was a TAC Ops 45 2 years ago, I want to say. Great gun. I've had a couple of SIG 1911s. I think they make fantastic 1911s. I've never had an issue with them. I think their quality is very good. Ideally, I would like a 9mm SIG, and those are hard to find. You can special order them, but you generally don't just happen upon them. I did happen upon one at Frontier Justice in Kansas City, Kansas. They had actually a very small 9mm 1911 SIG, and I was really tempted. I couldn't do it at the time. Had my eye on something else, but again, that would kind of be my choice for SIG. But they do make good 1911s, no doubt about that. Josh Mitchell, they should have used the P365 magazine for the new X Compact. Well, I'll tell you what, man, this is significantly bigger than the 365. I don't have a 365 anymore on the channel, but Centerfire happened to have one when I picked this up from him, whatever, the beginning of last week, whatever it was. And I put the two side by side because I was really curious. And brother, I'll tell you what, this thing is gigantic compared to the 365, but a lot of guns are. I mean, that 365 is really small. But even when you put this thing up against the X Carry, its brother, I mean, these guys they're close, but they're pretty different as well. Again, it's hard to show on video, so to speak. But yeah, the 365, the magazine would not work very well in this form factor, if you will. Wow, guys, really appreciate it. West Coast Chicano, I appreciate that, man. That's very, very nice of you. Try and hit everybody real quick. Fit and Fire, thanks, man. What should be my next review? CZ805 Bren or PSA K47 GF3? These are just a lot of letters and numbers. I'm not going to lie to you. Dude, I'd go Bren, man. I hear nothing but awesome things about the Bren. I don't know as much about the K47. It's a PSA. I mean, I'm sure it's fine, but I'd go CZ, dude. Those Brens are cool. They're kind of gnarly looking, and I actually kind of like that. Dennis B, thank you very much for the super chat as well. Really appreciate that. All of you guys, thank you. That it helps. It helps a lot, by the way. Let's see, Psycho Looney saying, I'm still upset. My gun store ain't get the X Compact yet. Been looking on the site every day in night. We'll just keep looking. Keep looking. They're out. In fact, Centerfire has another one. If you don't mind one being shipped, holler at them. Centerfire Shooting Sports in Olathe, Kansas. They do have an X Compact over there. So I guess they got two. When I got mine, they got a second one. So appreciate that. Shazarad, just tuning in while I clean the new to me Walther PP. Congratulations. That's awesome. Yeah, Jim Gregory saying the Legion trigger is slightly better. I agree. I agree with that. Robert Wilson, where do you get your guns for review? A lot of different sources. I buy a fair amount of them, and they end up going at some point in time. I can't keep them all, obviously. The budget does not allow that. We would see a couple of guns, and that would be it. That'd be it for the channel. It'd be all done. So that doesn't work. But some manufacturers have sent a couple to me, like Rock Island Armory, TriStar, Diamondback. You guys haven't seen the Diamondback. Still working through some kinks with those, with actually Diamondback. More on that at a later time. I will share those stories with you, by the way. And then some are loaners from friends, whether it's friends just like you or people I know around town. So it's a variety of different sources. Let's see, Mountaineer, good to see you. Sig Nightmare is my favorite. Yeah, man. Do you like the bobtail version? I like the bobtail. I think that's pretty cool. And I think the bobtails are super comfortable. Abram, enjoy your videos. Always informative. Keep up the great work. Much appreciated, man. I really appreciate that. It's a lot of fun. I love getting to know you guys. I learn more from you guys than I do in all my research and all that kind of stuff. This is the fun part for me, as far as I'm concerned. So, but I do very much appreciate it. Daniel, my God, is Judge. Good to see you. Steven, I'm allergic to SIGs. There's a pill for that, I think. I think it's called Glock. Just kidding. Scott is saying, do the PSA AKV 9mm. Yeah, those look pretty sweet as well. Richard Oliver voting for the CZ. Fit and Fire. Hope you're taking note. West Coast. Yeah, man. Really, seriously, really appreciate it, brother. Kathleen, you're trying to correct me. I'm terrible about that. My pronunciation is always terrible. I try and get as close as I can. Chicano. Okay, Chicano. I will remember. I promise you I will. It's that silly Midwestern accent. B. Och, good to see you, B. If the 365 can hold 10 or 12, the 320s should hold 20 plus easy. They can't use the same magic in the 320s, or is there something I don't get? That's a good question. So, the X5, that one carries 21 with the extended magazine. Now it comes out to like here. I mean, they're huge. I don't know if you put the grip of the 365, just the length of it next to one of these, yeah, it's absolutely shorter. There's no doubt about it. I mean, it's probably going to come to, I don't know, here or something like that. But there really isn't that much more length. So when you're adding 2 more per whatever, a little bit more, maybe a third of an inch or something like that. There aren't that many more rounds that you can really stuff into it. So when you think about something like the P10F, that P10F, I don't know if you've had any experience with one, but if you grab a P10F, man, God, the thing is huge. I got to tell you, the grip, it makes my hands look like dwarf hands. I mean, it's just that big. And so it's got, what, 19 rounds in it. I mean, that's pretty extreme. So, boy, you guys, man. Okay, so I got to catch up here. Hang on just a second. Mountaineer, pimpin' ain't easy, KS. Ain't that the truth, brother? Ain't that the truth? Thank you very much, by the way. Really appreciate that. Ricardo Martinez, what do you think of an optic on a CC pistol? Although I don't do it, I've carried the Glock 19 MOS a couple of times with the Vortex Venom, and it was fine. I am an iron sight shooter by nature, and I have a lot more experience with that, so my comfort level falls there. That said, I think I'm becoming a little bit antiquated with that because more and more people are carrying optics. I've got a lot of buddies around here that are starting to carry optics, and some have carried for several years and swear by it. So if you are proficient and comfortable with an optics gun and an optics gun that's designed for your needs for EDC, then there's no reason not to do it. I would make sure it's a quality optic, one that's going to be as reliable as possible. I mean, a lot of people swear by things like the Trijicon, Leopold Delta Point Pro. Those are two really good ones. I've had good experience with the Holosun. I'm not sure that it's up to snuff for EDC. I don't know. There are probably some good studies out there, but again, proficiency is the really big thing. Find a good holster and a good belt so it's comfortable for you because you've got an extra piece that's sticking off the gun and could be poking in your side or in your gut or whatever it is. So make sure that it's something that you're really going to be able to dedicate some time to and be comfortable around. But yeah, I mean, I think it's becoming not necessarily the norm yet, but it's getting there. I really think it's getting there. Warsaw Patriot, here's a question. Thoughts on the brand new 92X? God, everybody's talking about the 92X. So clearly I need to get on board with that. So I'll check one out at some point in time. Everyone is talking about it. Jim Gregory, thank you very much, my friend. Appreciate it. Thanks for the great content. Really enjoy your channel. Well, I enjoy you as well, man. This is where it's at. This is where it's a lot of fun. I think we have such an amazing group of people in here. I know there's some people that haven't made it tonight. They come in for the Wednesday night chat with Big Johnson and 1776. You guys are an unbelievable group of people, and you guys are friends. So it's awesome. Without getting too sappy, it's awesome. So thank you very, very much. Really appreciate it. Kathleen, if I could only have one PPQ or SPO1 regular, I'd go SPO1. That's just me. I think the SPO1's a better shooter than the PPQ. You got to get used to that SPO1 trigger, that curved, that super curved trigger. But I think it's a fantastic gun. Harry's Holsters, good to see you, my friend. Appreciate you. Mean Gene, good to see you as well. Have you seen the Viridian XTL with video cam and audio? I have not. You've got me intrigued. That would actually be cool to do videos on. If nothing else. I'm sure there are different applications that they probably designed it for, but very interesting indeed. Shaq, man, geez, boy, this channel sucks. Everyone, let's go to Fit and Fire's channel. He's got s'mores and chicken tendies. Yes, let's all go. In fact, let's just stop this right now and go hang out with Fit. That's awesome. Fit, you're getting some attention there, brother. Is Fit still on? I don't know if Fit's still on. Nope, Fit's still on. I see him. Shek also said, oh, so you said it twice. You paid and you said it twice. Well done. Now everyone's going to leave. Oh, that's awesome. Scott P79, KS Magpul's released on their site the Scorpion Grip. I'll have to check that out. I like Magpul a lot. So that's got me very curious. Very curious indeed. Richard Oliver, after listening to all the negative Glock talk, I laugh when I see a gun store with the Glock Perfection sign in their window and printed on t-shirts. You know, what's the best way to say this? It is one of the most decisive firearms, if you could say that, aside from something like the P365. That was pretty divisive as well. But, you know, I put out that Glock 26 versus CZ P10S video, and I'll tell you what, my friend, I have caught a lot of trouble for that. A lot of people saying that I hate CZ and I don't know what I'm talking about, that sort of thing. They don't know the channel very well because you guys all know I love CZ. I love CZ. But that, man, I'll tell you, both sides of the fence come out for things like that. There's no getting around it, unfortunately. It's crazy. But Pistol Pete, yeah, this you guys are awfully generous this evening. Much appreciated. I feel like I need to do a song and dance or something like that. Tony Musto, thank you very much. Really appreciate that, brother. It's very, very nice of you. It's very nice of you. Shaq, damn, glitched. It's those glitches, man. Those glitches. Go out and buy a High Point carbine 9mm. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, let's see. No mics. Please talk me out of buying a CZ 97 BD. That will not happen here. There are a lot of CZ fans here in the crowd, including me. You'd be hard pressed not to enjoy that gun. Stephen Worth is saying to Kathleen, SPO1. Yeah, man, it's SPO1's a great gun. I try not to be a Sig fanboy by any stretch of the imagination. They make a good gun and an enjoyable gun to shoot. Generally speaking, there are a few that I'm not a fan of, but by and large, I just think they make a good gun. Some people have said they're the new Glock and that sort of thing, as far as, fanboyism and that sort of thing. And, maybe not, I don't know. But I think people are just discovering that it's a good brand. I'd like to see the same thing with Steyr. I'd like to see the same thing with Archon. I'd like to see the same thing with some of these other brands that are making good stuff and are not quite as well known. So it's not just CZ, it's others as well. REB, good to see you, man. Is the F much bigger than the PO9? It is bigger. I've not put the two side by side. Big Johnson might be a great person to ask tomorrow night because obviously he is a huge PO9 guy, but he has the F as well. The F is bigger. There's no doubt about that in my mind, but probably not by that much. PO9's big gun. I don't care for the PO9 at all. That I had one for a while. Before I had the channel, and I did not enjoy it very much. That was probably an impulse buy. Justin M, old fixed 365 versus new generation 365. Would you carry either? Yeah, I would. I would lean towards the newer ones, especially with the firing pin fix. That was kind of a big deal. But I put out 4 or 5 videos on the P365 and I had good luck with mine. And I think before I finally parted ways with it, it had 1,300 rounds, whatever, not a bobble, not a problem. It had a little bit of peening in the front of the slide. And I talked about that in the first or second video, but aside from that, and that was cosmetic, it was otherwise fine. Kevin Jung, do you think California will uphold or overturn the mag capacity ruling? That's tough to say. They may overturn it. I hope not, man. I truly, truly hope not. But we shall see. We shall see. I'm getting caught up here for a second. Mean Gene, Glock perfection means perfect for the intended use. I think it's a good way of saying it. I've said it before. Glock 19, I enjoy that gun a lot. It fits really well in the hand. I shoot it well, all those sorts of things. That is a good do-all gun. It doesn't do anything perfectly in my mind, but it does most everything well enough to get by that it's just one of those sort of even spread firearms. And I enjoy that. And it's not alone. There are others as well. The M&P 2.0C, whether it's the 4-inch or the 3.6-inch, P10C. I mean, some of those compact firearms, the P10, the X compact. I mean, I think it's the same sort of deal. Now the Glock is notoriously small versus some of these other guns. And I think that's why some people are driven towards it. But still, it is. It's kind of a do-all gun and doesn't do anything perfectly, I guess. Keith Gregory, how about a drum solo instead of a song and dance? Maybe sometime I'll bring in a recording of a drum solo. I used to do them in every show. I haven't played since 2013, totally retired. I think the wrists would probably explode and catch on fire. Maybe that would be the show. You see me, screaming in pain and in a ball in the corner. That'd be pretty cool. By the time I was done playing, I mean, really within minutes, I would be almost screaming in agony. It'd be so painful to play. So I can't do it anymore. But I could maybe I could play a little audio clip for you at some point in time. James Rogg, appreciate it. What are your thoughts on backpack carry? I think it's fine. Now, some people say that because technically it's off-body carry, right? You could put the bag down and the gun would not be on your body. But if you're camping or hiking or in a place where you need some extra stuff, extra gear, or discretion is the word, something like that, and it's not one of those super tactical bags, that sort of thing. I think it's a perfectly legitimate way to carry. Access can be a little bit of a problem. They make bags that are discreet and have reasonable access, but it's obviously not going to be as accessible as holster carry in whatever position, whether it's on the side or in appendix, back, whatever it is. But again, depending on the situation, I think it could be completely legitimate. And again, I would say the bag would be the one thing. I would not be in favor of a bag that really gives you away, the super tactical, the patches and all the molly and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I would stay away from that and have something a little bit more, something that blends into the crowd, unless you're just after that look, which you might be. But yeah, totally legitimate. Pistol Pete, you should review the 97B or BD. I'd be up for that. I wouldn't have a problem with that at all. I'd have to find one, but yeah, I'd be down for that in a second. Shaq is saying Taurus G2C is the best gun ever made, and every standing military that opposes the United States should adopt it as far as their sidearm. Prove me wrong. I'm gonna leave that open for the crowd. I bet the responses will be interesting, if nothing else. I like that. It's very thoughtful of you. Dave Giles, the CZ-P07 is an overlooked design that is great. I did enjoy that much more than the P09, no doubt about it. After I found some other double action, single actions, it's not my favorite. And I think all of it comes down to the trigger because the ergonomics are fantastic. I like the build. I like the look. It's got all the stuff that I would want on a firearm. But that trigger, for whatever reason, that Omega trigger, unlike the P01, which I very much like, the P07 I don't care for as much. I would have to get the spring kits and some of that. I'd have to mod it a little bit to make it a little bit more palatable for me. But in a pinch, it will absolutely work. It's just that distance from the reset back to the wall. That's a thing, because to me that is an opportunity with my shaky hands. That's an opportunity for a lot of this. I want that reset to be short and crisp so I can get back on as fast as I can with as little movement in between. So these are things that, I kind of think about while I'm shooting. And then the P07, I tend to struggle with a little bit more. I saw a very interesting one here. Bear with me. I accidentally touched the mouse and it went kind of wild. Keenan, good to see you. KS, are you on the fence on the STI? I am. In fact, the STI just shipped out today to go to another reviewer. Now it'll come back, and I'm talking about the C because I have the P. I have the P with me. I like the P right now. I do, but the C, the C is a good gun. I mean, it's a phenomenal build. There were a couple of little things about it, and I've showed it to some other buddies, some other gun buddies here locally. Just under the beaver tail, just some sculpting that I think they could have been a little bit more thoughtful about, just as far as comfort. And it's totally nerdy to talk about this stuff, I realize, because some people would grab it and say, who cares, just run it, it's fine. But they're sharper edges than I would expect from STI. And when I put it next to that Dan Wesson Vigil CCO, you guys know I have that. A review will come at some point in time. That Vigil, it's just super comfortable. I think they did a great job with the ergonomics, and we're very thoughtful about that. So to me, it's more comfortable to shoot, more comfortable to just get behind and have a good time with all day long. That STI, after 250 rounds, I was done. I was ready to be done with it. My hand was ready to be done with it. And it just, I think there were some ergonomic things that I didn't agree with. Aside from that, it shot like a beast. So somebody else could probably run the snot out of it. So the reviewer that's getting it will probably run the snot out of it. So more on that at a later time. Scott Saunders, hey KS, good evening. What are your thoughts on the 9mm revolvers compared to a 38 Special? Well, I like 9mm. I mean, I would love to test a 9mm revolver, but I wouldn't mind testing a 38 or a 357 either. I don't know. Now 9mm I think have some disadvantages. You have to use the moon clips because of how the casing is shaped versus something like a 380 or 38 rather. Can you tell I'm out of my element? 38 or a 357. So again, some disadvantages to that. But in terms of enjoying to shoot it, I think they'd be a lot of fun to shoot. So I'd like to try one at some point. I don't know which one I would do yet, but I'm a fan. I definitely am. I think there's probably some wheel gun fanatics that would disagree with that, which I totally understand. Fit and Fire saying, I'm not a fan of off-body carry. I have and do it if I have to, but prefer not to. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, again, there are some disadvantages to that. And I think the biggest one is accessibility. But then also, anytime you have your gun off your body, whether it's a purse or a bag or whatever it is, there is always that chance that somebody could come along and grab it or whatever. I mean, you got to be responsible for your firearm. So it's something to consider. If that bag's going to be glued to you and the firearm is where somebody couldn't just yank something open real quick and grab it, that would be a consideration. But again, they make some bags that are specifically designed for that. So I think it's doable, but you have to be thoughtful on it, I think. Paul, good to see you, my friend. KS X Compact versus P10S. Which would you prefer for shootability? I'll be really honest with you. And it's not because it's newer to the channel right now, but this thing feels immensely comfortable. It is ridiculously comfortable. Now, again, I've said it a couple times on this. It's shocking how small this grip is compared to the X Carry, its bigger brother, but still incredibly comfortable. So I gravitate towards the X Compacts, and I had not thought about doing any sort of a comparison between that and the P10S or even P10C or anything. I haven't really thought about comparisons to this yet. I haven't determined where I feel like it falls, I guess, yet. but it's uber comfortable. I've been very impressed with this gun. See, I have a CZ custom RMR cut on my PO9. It's a appendix carry rotation. I like it a lot. Fits me and shoots great. See, it's awesome. You and Big Johnson. That's impressive. I could not get away with that. I really couldn't. That would be just too uncomfortable for me. Mountaineer saying Iron Butterfly. Heck yeah, man. There's some serious drum solos there. That's my kind of music, man. Shaq Jesus. I keep an LCP and the cell phone armband around my bicep. Well done. Well done. You can't top that. Straight Blazing 7. Keep killing it. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. All right, let's get caught up. And again, if I have missed anything, guys, I sincerely apologize. Do a little call out. So the little @KS gun guy, and it's easier for me to see it, but I'll try and hit everything I can. Richard Oliver, what are your thoughts on the Smith & Wesson SD9 VE? I have one and love it. It's funny. They have a used one with the stainless slide at centerfire, and I've done a little dry fire and kind of played around with it a little bit. I would want to tweak it a little bit with the apex trigger on it. That the trigger is a little bit stiff for my purposes, but it was basically brand new, and I imagine it probably wears in after a while and gets better. Most guns do, but it feels really good in the hand. I like the ergonomics, and I like the look of it as well. And it's had a lot of staying power. There are a lot of people that really swear by that gun because it's reasonably affordable, but it's a good quality build. I have heard very few negative things about that gun, and it's one of those guns that has sort of fallen by the wayside because a lot of people don't give it very much attention, but here it is, yet still here. So that it has to tell you something. Perry Solsters KS, I might be able to hook you up on a wheel gun. Just holler at me, man. I'd be very curious. I would. I'd have to totally rework my grip again. Dang it. Just been working on that quite a bit, but I'd be all over it. Mateo, good to see you, my friend. Corey Euro C, what's up from Erie, Pennsylvania? What's up to you? Shek is saying some messenger bags are pretty good and on the down low for off-body carry. Yeah, I think that's something that doesn't draw attention to you, but is made for that. That's good. Pistol Pete, Justin Opinion shot that well. Yeah, he liked it quite a bit. He and I've talked a little bit about it off camera, off to the side. He's a cool dude. I like him a lot. Range Randy, good to see you. Case, if you want to try a good revolver, the Smith & Wesson 686 and a 3 or 4 inch would be a good choice. Yeah, I want to say it was Beretta 9mm USA did a video on that not too long ago, if I'm not mistaken. They've done quite a few revolvers, but they are good looking guns. I feel like I'd want to try the 4 inch. It's kind of a bigger gun. I think they look pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it at all. Corey Euro C, you had a good question. Then I just shot right by it. What do you think of the new long slide shields? Good idea or dumb? RMR slides on a carry gun. Well, RMR, and we've talked about this a little bit earlier tonight. RMR is becoming a thing. It has become a thing, and it's getting more and more popular. So I understand exactly why Smith did it. And I think they were kind of smart to include an optic, although some people would probably disagree with that and say they would want to choose their own. But this at least eliminates the need for a specific one, cut for only maybe an RMR or a Hollow Sun or a Leopold or whatever it is, but not having to worry about plates, so it can sit a little bit lower, and hopefully it would co-witness. But I think it's smart for Smith to do that. I really do. It's kind of pricey. I mean, it's $850 MSRP, so I would expect to pay pretty close to that with the RMR on it. I do like the long slide, and I have one on order, the long slide non-RMR version, because that's a little bit more up my alley, and I'm very excited to try it, see what the shooting dynamics are and that sort of thing, and maybe have a shield around here that people don't give me trouble for having changed the trigger for. That's something I get a lot of hate, and it's specifically on the shield more than any other gun in any other video, because I have that Apex trigger on, and I do not want to take it out. It's a pain to take that thing out just for a video. And people just, they don't dig the fact that something has been changed on it other than sights. So it might be good to have a normal trigger around here. But again, I'm in favor of the longer slide. I'm okay with that. MD Polo, good to see you. Looking forward to the Sig X Carry Compact. Yeah, hopefully people will enjoy it. I've been saying it's hard to quantify the difference on video, but that compact grip, it is compact. It is definitely compact. Steve B, the moon clips are for ejecting the casings. You can shoot without them, but you'd better have something to push them out. That's how I shoot my Colt M1917 45. Okay, good to know. Now, I actually thought because of the 9mm casing that you had to have the moon clips. But I could be totally wrong about that. Again, it's not my wheelhouse. Get it? That's a bad joke. That won't happen again, I swear. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I've heard some people say you have to have the moon clips with 9mm, but maybe that's not the case. Ferrets with Guns, good to see you. Apex Trigger and the SD9VE is sweet. Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that multiple times, that it's well worth that particular upgrade. Crimson Productions. I go to the same local range. Awesome. That's very cool. Got some guns you could review. Vector SBR. Wow, nice. A Maxim 9. You mean the suppressed one? That's pretty cool. Scar 17. Hit me up on Instagram. Okay. Because I'll probably forget that. Hit me up on Instagram if you don't mind. Chaos Gun Guy _official. And let's start a conversation, man. Really appreciate that. If nothing else, we'll go shooting. C. Kim, good to see you. 686 plus 2.5-inch barrel. Nice. Very nice. REB, the 97B with the EAA witness. All right, man. Trust me, you're on the list. I've got to get a couple things out of the way, some more obligatory things out of the way first. But yes, we will definitely talk. I have not forgotten, I promise. Sheck, have you, Fit, Uncle Dan, and Big J ever considered hosting an event, a big meet and greet? No, we have not. I mean, I know we're Fit and Big J are. Uncle Dan, is he in Texas? I'm not sure. But no, we haven't really thought about that. But it's probably something we'd be down for. We'd have to just kind of talk it over and see what we could work out. You never know. Might be fun to go down Fitz Way out in the open. There's some good shooting places down his direction. It's not quite so much around here in the city, even though I'm sure Center Fire would host something if we wanted to. But indoor isn't quite as much fun for that sort of thing. Mischievous Misanthrope. I like that. Let's see. Is RMR wider than the slide on the shield? Yeah, it is. It looks like it is. It looks like it hangs off a little bit. Although I've been testing the Hollow Sun. I think it's the 507C or B, whichever one it is. I don't have it here in front of me. And it's on a Glock 19, the Loki build. If you follow me on Instagram, I just put out a picture on that. And it hangs over the sides, not by too much, but a little bit. So as far as aesthetics go, it's probably not as cool looking as some, but purpose driven. I don't necessarily think it really matters. Where it might matter is either comfort or holster design, perhaps. So we'll have to kind of see how that goes. Mean Gene saying long slide shield sucks. Just get the compact 2.0. 3.6 inch. Well, I mean, that's a very good point. And that's probably something we ought to consider maybe in a video. I don't have a 3.6 inch, but I would be curious about that. I mean, there are definitely some differences. And I think I think it falls under the same thing that like the Glock 19 versus the 48 fall into, because you've got two guns that are equal slide length, right? But you've got a different grip. Now the shield does things differently than the 48 because the shield kept the same grip length. And I think some people will really appreciate that because you have that 7-round ultra concealability, but then you can go up from there with extensions plus the 8-round that comes with it. But again, you got to separate which one makes the most sense for you. So you bring up a really good point. I don't know. C. Kim, Smith & Wesson 500 4-inch ankle carry, one on each, actually, because it balances it out a little bit. So if you're going to walk funky on both sides, right? Harry Slolster, the shield needs an aftermarket trigger more than any other gun. It's funny, and I said this on the original shield video, which no longer exists, unfortunately. I may someday repost that just to see what happens, but it did get taken down. The only one, thankfully. But I said that the Shield 2.0 trigger was probably my favorite of the Smith & Wesson triggers, whether it be full size or Generation 1, any of those. It was the cleanest and had the best reset. It was not perfect. It was still the hinge trigger, which I don't care for. But I thought it was the best one that I had experienced out of the box. And that was even considering I had a Performance Center shield for a while, a pretty brief while. And I thought really the Shield 2.0 had a better trigger. I'm sure some people will want to argue with me on that, but again, it's just based on my own, I guess, trigger biases. I thought it was actually not entirely too bad. Now the Apex obviously makes it 100 times better, but it wasn't that bad. Vanessa Kitty, good to see you. Okay, Sheck said East Texas. Okay, yeah, we'll try and put something together at some point in time. Abram, do you pocket carry? If so, what gun? I do not pocket carry. I used to pocket carry an LCP every once in a while. If I was, throwing something in the pocket to go to the store, something like that. It was a matter of convenience. But I've sort of found that I don't think the accessibility is as good, or at least in my experience, as just going ahead and throwing on a regular holster in my normal position and running with it that way, because I'm used to that. And I know it's there. I know... I kind of know about it within the pocket, especially cargo pants or something. It's a little bit different. It could be rattling around a little bit more. So I'm not as much in favor of that, although I understand the convenience. And there are some really good pocket holsters out there, but yeah, it's not something I do anymore. Young Guns, does the Coyote finish seem better? It's funny you say that. It's a really good question. Better on the X Carry than the M17, because the X Carry, this is also the PVD. It's the exact same coating as the M17. And so this one actually looks really good, but it's the same stuff. So, if I sneeze on it the wrong way, it could get scratched, I think. That was such a huge disappointment with the M17. But so far, this one's looked pretty well, but I fully expect it to get scratched. It's going to be what it is. I wish they would get away with the finish that's on it. You can't see it very well, but it's that same Coyote PVD. That's one thing about SIGs. I don't like the finishes on their guns as much. I like the matte feel of them, but I think their finishes are not as robust as they should be. All right, we have time for maybe one or two more questions, guys, if that's okay with you. Pistol Pete, when is that Dan Wesson review coming? I hope soon. I'm trying to work through a couple of other things in the backlog, and I'm trying to be thoughtful about spacing out the 1911s. Right now, I'm a little overloaded in 1911s. I have those two 10 millimeters from Rock Island that I'm so excited to try and play around with. I have not touched them yet. The Staccato P, the two Dan Wessons, because it's the Vigil and the Guardian that'll be here later this week. So a lot of 1911s, and I don't want people to get tired of that. So I'm trying to be thoughtful about spacing those out. It's possible you may not see the Dan Wesson for a while. So we'll just have to see. We'll have to see what happens. Corey, any plans on building a higher end AR-15 to follow your budget build, like a BCM, Aero PR, spikes? Would love to see some Gucci AR parts on that. If I can work it out, man, yeah, I would love to. That would be a lot of fun. Now I have to say though, that budget AR and budget, I think sometimes can be looked at as a bad word, and I don't look at it as a bad word. It just means there's more money for ammo and fun. And to kind of dress it up as well. I mean, I've already put the charging handle from the last tac pack and some of that kind of thing on it. It's a phenomenal gun. I love it. So yeah, it'd be fun to do a more Gucci AR and then maybe compare the two. But you know, I don't know. We'll have to see what the year turns out. I do have a comparison with the MPX versus the AR9. By the way, I haven't shown you guys this. I don't think you guys have seen the can live yet. I don't think so. I've been playing around with this thing with the can on it, and I love it. It's the AR9, a little PSA going on here. It's a great gun, by the way. So there will be an if I can only have one with that and the MPX. So hopefully that'll at least entertain, if nothing else. Well, guys, we got to wrap things up here in just a moment. My Uncharted Trucker, good to see you. When is Star coming out with the new M9, the A2? I don't know yet. I think they had a delay with imports. So hopefully soon, though. But you guys, this is awesome. It has been an amazing night. As always, you guys are incredible people. Love you guys to death. And I appreciate you guys sharing your Tuesday with me. It's a lot of fun. We're going to circle around and do it all again tomorrow night. It's not on my channel. I think it's on 1776 Robust's channel with all three of us, which should be. So hopefully we will see you guys there. But guys, shoot straight, be safe, have a lot of fun, and we will definitely see you next time. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.